Hello everyone, this is John for PokerVIP.com and welcome to part 21 of grinding the TonyBet series, where we basically hop on a new site like TonyBet, we jump into a lot of the games and we just play poker, just as like a general grinder would do on a new, smaller site like this. The site is growing month on month, but there is still plenty of value to be had, not only from, the promos, the rake and so on, but also just from the players themselves. And as we launch into it, a nice prime example here: limp blind versus blind, calls our raise, and then leads half pot on an ace king at 9. A board he really can't have a lot on, but a board we really can have a lot on, and that's exactly what we've got. Top set, the nuts. Okay, just bring in our fourth table here, guys. And I think I'm just going to go for a raise on this turn. I mean, Queen 10 gets there, but time to get some value versus his draws. 7 on the river, so now 8-10 gets there, but quite an unlikely hand for him to have. Imagine he's got a hand like King Queen, King 10, Jack 10, something like that. So we're just going to bet half pot and hope we get a crying call. Sadly, he folds, though. He probably picked up a flush draw or something on the turn. So we got some nice value there. Obviously, this guy, Martito, is a weaker player. We now know this just from the way he's playing, and now he's limping buttons. I mean, he's just not going to be that great, so good seat for us to have on his direct left. Obviously, it just means we've got position. So we've got 4 tables up. 3 are 5NL, and then the bottom left is 25NL, and that's what part 1 will be today. Sometimes we have 2NL, 100NL, 50NL. It really just depends what is running and what seats are available once I sign on. Obviously, if you're going to grind a site like this, you want to table select. But the way to table select is obviously to like build notes on players, just remember people's names, sit in a game and think, oh, okay, well, this one's a bit too tight and, I'm not really winning much money, so I think I might change tables. Just be smart about it and use absolute common sense. If you're like, oh, God, this guy's constantly, like, owning me and he's on my left and this sucks, well, just move tables. You don't have to, like, let your ego get in the way. You don't have to win the battle. Poker is not against one person. It is against poker and everyone itself. So just always know when it's time to sort of, move on and find somewhere and find another seat, basically. I actually remember Jennifer Harmon said that a long time ago. She said, just always remember there will be another game. And that kind of just comes down to, if you're losing too much, if you're having a bad night, if you're tilting, you can leave the game because there will literally be another game tomorrow. It's not like that's the last game on Earth and you have to see it out. Poker is just like this super long-term thing. So yeah, always remember that in case of a time where the table's bad or you're just not winning or you're not playing your A game. Make sure you really get into it. This is a 24-part series in total. This is part 21, so if you've not seen the previous 20 parts, you can check them out over on PokerVIP.com, or if you're watching this on YouTube, then just go back into our video vault, and by vault I mean our video page, and you'll see them all there, all clearly marked with the graphic and grinding TonyBet. Title. So, King Jack suited here, we see a limp and the small blind make up the blind. And I just go for a raise. King Jack suited is going to play very well. It's going to dominate a lot of their hands. If they fold pre, that's cool. But yeah, King Jack's just going to play pretty well versus them and, be dominating their range. So, definitely cool to raise it up. I bet flop, obviously, because I've got 2 overs, gut shot, and a backdoor flush draw. Turn I check because it improves that hand like 6-7, 7-8, of course. It just doesn't really improve our hand. I've continued to bet on any heart, Jack, Queen, or King. And I think on this round I'm going to check. I mean, I can definitely win here sometimes versus Jack 8 and Jack Queen. And I'm actually tempted to make a bit of a hero call versus those hands. If that 6 didn't get there, I think I go ahead and call. But I think the 6, he can have some 6-7s that he's turning into a bluff, so I think I'm going to actually muck. Jack Queen down here, I'm going to go ahead and make a 4-bet bluff. Generally don't do this versus an under the gun open. But under the gun is a fish. We've seen him just getting like 7-8 on a deuce 3-7. Prop bet's lost to him. He seems like a reg, and he's going to be ISOing wide. So I think with a hand which contains a lot of blockers, like Jack Queen, then we can definitely go ahead and put that fourth bet in. It looks very strong. But that's all just sort of like, seeing like one hand quickly and, reacting to what you think about the players. And we want to be in lots of pots versus this DBX guy, of course. Ace-5 I open button, bet flop. He raised, which is quite interesting. Like, he shouldn't be raising that many hands here. He probably shouldn't be raising that many draws or value hands, but obviously with a hand like Ace-5, we're going to fold. Going to float the King-Queen. We have 2 overs, a gut shot, and a backdoor King-High flush draw. So very easy float there in position. King-10 I would normally not open under the gun, but we are playing 4-handed, so, cut off under the gun kind of melds into the same thing here. And now we're going to go ahead and fold that King-Queen. I would call if the 8 was a club, because I think the King-High flush draw is going to be good a lot, but once we brick out there, we're going to just get out of the way. I'm going to be really interested in what these guys show down here. Big old bet, 850. And Sleepers quickly folds. Would imagine he just had a flush draw. Sleepers is a reg, if I recall, and I can see him on all my tables, apart from the bottom right, so got to assume so. And he really does just go to prove that people who are grinding on TonyBet grind like all the stakes, because there is just that much free money kicking around that they just want to be in as many games as possible. I bet my ace deuce, because I got the ace of hearts. I'm going to go ahead and check this turn. And I think I'll go ahead and hero the river if he bets, because he can have lots of, playing the boards, misdraws and so on. So, yeah, just go ahead and hero there with the ace high. And sadly lose to a 9, but I think he's going to be bluffing a decent amount there. Pair of 8s, we open and get a really favourable flop with 3 undercards. So we're going to go ahead and bet that again. And we just take that down pretty quick. Ace-5. Really not a great flop. But we're going to go ahead and bet once. And we're going to go ahead and check this turn. I would have probably continued to bet on like a queen, king, obviously an ace, a deuce, or a 3. But when it pairs the board, he's not going to fold anything he really called with on the flop. Bets 5 cent though. I think I've got a call. Ace high is going to be good a lot of the time. Sorry, waiting list popped up there. Yeah, ace high is going to be good a lot of the time. He's going to have some hands like 10, jack, queen, 10, and so on. And obviously, I might be able to hit an ace versus if he has, say, just a 4, or possibly I can hit a 5. So, pretty easy call and a pretty easy fold on the river. So yeah, basically when I start to play, I jump on like all waiting lists. This might be another good spot for a called 4. Sleeper's kind of doing the same thing. And a nice squeeze spot here, top right, and a fold, bottom right. And we just make it 5 here, so, we can get away with it a lot, even if he jams or raises. We're risking 5 to win, the 3 that's in there. It does work again. It really does prove just how important isolating is in poker, and just how many regs do it. A bad player is in the pot, and a reg will just instantly be trying to get the pot heads up with versus them, so if you're just a little bit smarter than they are, you can know that you can just go ahead and re-ISO them a lot. And the thing is, if you run into a player like me, who you consistently see, re-isolating like that, then obviously you want to really think about when you are isolating, what you're going to go ahead and 5-bet rip with, what you're going to peel with, and what you're going to fold. You need to develop those ranges, because say you've got aces or kings, it might be better to just go ahead and call me. Because I'm generally going to have like 2 unders. Well, obviously 2 unders versus aces always. I'm just generally going to have a hand like, jack, queen, suit connectors, something like that. And I'm obviously going to fold that versus a jam pre-flop, but I can connect with some boards and just go with it post-flop versus you a lot. Also, if you've got like a low suited ace or something which you think will have 30% versus my calling range or more, then that's obviously a good thing as well. Gonna float with ace 9 high here versus his min bet. Can't really let min bets just get through when you've got ace high, especially when there's draws like 6, 7, 9, 10, 7, 9, queen 10 out there. I'm really not too sure here. I think we're going to flick it in just because he seems like a bit of an idiot and, you know, he could definitely just be doing this with nothing. And yeah, he's got king queen. I mean, it's just insane. Like, why would he ever want to do that? But we do run into it a lot. Jack queen, I 3-bet button. I'm going to go ahead and check about flop. Just to pot control and induce some bluffs on the turn. Queen 10, I'm just going to go ahead and bomb my straight draw. Don't really like the 8 because he can have a 9, of course, but we're going to go ahead and call. You could also just be bluffing with a hand like ace queen of spades or, you know, 5-6 of spades or something like that. So it's a pretty easy call. Ace is a really bad river, but I would be very confused if he bet it. Because I do, you know, if he bets, he's just repping a 9. He's not repping on like king queen. And how many 9s does he get? Does he have? It's pretty much just pocket 9s, right? You know, just pots it. I mean, it's really confusing. It is really confusing. He has a 9 or nothing. And the only 9 he should have is pocket 9s. We do, you know, he could have king queen of spades, I guess. And that'd be the only king queen that makes sense for him to bet that turn with. Really confusing spot. I think we're going to opt to fold this time, just because we don't know too much about him. But definitely one to think about. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you would do. You know, when he pots it there, it's like, we can have king queen. So why would you pot it? So it should just be a bluff. Like, weird. Weird. But, you know, pot size bet. It's quite hard to call there a second pair. And there's lots of action out there. Straight hits the board. Just go ahead and bet it and see if we can get him to randomly spaz fold. Am I reading the board wrong? Nope. So yeah, I mean, we get a guy to fold when it's pretty obviously a chop. Interesting. It makes that Jack Queen hand a little more different now. Like, should we have called? Like, was it an obvious fold now? I mean, we'll certainly find out in due course. Nines, I make a pretty obvious call in the small blind. And the ace, I'm just going to start off by betting. I mean, he can definitely call with worse. This guy pot bets it on a 4-6 jack, and I think I'm going to go ahead and call at least once here. Potting it doesn't really make much sense. Like, what hand do you want to pot a jack 6-4 rainbow with? An overpair, an underpair? All very confusing. I think I just check the river and try and get a showdown, and if he bets, maybe I call. Because if he bets, he's dropping a jack or better. Yeah, he just quickly folds, and hey-ho. Yeah, pocket 8s. Okay. I mean, his bet sizing is just horrible no matter what he's got, but... Okay, so we're going multi-way here with the ace-jack, and we do hit the flop, ace-5-queen. Just gonna start by betting. I mean, we could also just treat our hand as like a check call down line, but, you know, there's quite a few bad players in this hand, so let's just go ahead and start pumping value. Get that ISO bottom right. Hopefully somebody doesn't re-ISO us. Jack 8, we're going to check. So I checked the turn with the ace-jack just because I really have no idea where I am, and I think now I'm going to turn my hand into like a bluff catcher and just check and see if somebody bets and we can react versus it. Get a cold call with my king 10, and we do actually win there with ace-jack. So 3 people called us, 2 of us had an ace, one of them was ace-deuce, so that's a good sign. Just a shame nobody wanted to pull the trigger on the river. King 10 we're going to bet, fold, sorry, obviously. We completely missed the flop multi-way. I'm going to bet the ace-8, just hope to take the pot down, basically. Okay, check. I think it might be a river call. If he bets, he's repping like a queen or better, so... Or I don't really know how often he pots with, you know, a 9, so I think I've got to pay him off on this one. Wow, pocket 10s for a pot size bet. Very interesting. I mean, if I was him, I'd be pretty confident I've got the best hand, but I wouldn't be potting it because I wouldn't know what would call me. So not too sure on his sizing there, but I think this Eleanor person's just a bit of a random, and that's fair enough. It worked, and we will take note. Ace King, obviously a monster. No action though. Been playing lots of open face Chinese on here. Not be making a video for it because I am no pro at it. That's for sure. Just been dabbling. Lost a bit of money. Lost a bit of money, let's put it that way. But definitely a cool game to learn, and their software is really cool, especially if you're playing on your phone or tablet. The way you sort of place the cards, it's really cool. So I flop a full house here and just think, okay, let's start value betting. I mean, he can have a queen, he can have some pocket pairs, he can have some floats. So I'm happy to just go ahead and start betting. Hopefully he does just have a queen, and we can just go ahead and get 3 streets here, and maybe have him like make a bad raise on the river. But my sense is basically just half pot, half pot, half pot, and then decide what to do on the river if raised. It would generally just be a call. So yeah, Open Face Chinese is really cool. Obviously the tournaments as well. And they will be part of the onlinepokerleague.com season 4, which I mean is just a must check out for anybody who is like really wanting to like become a better poker player and make a lot of money over the winter. All these parts are 30 minutes long, so there are lots of hours of TonyBet action on the internet now. Hope you all have enjoyed it. I know that one of the last parts got about 5,000 views, so thank you very much for everyone who took the time to watch that. It would be nice to get some reviews and comments, that's for sure. And if you're watching this over on YouTube, make sure you check out pokervip.com. You know, forum, affiliate, poker deals, big poker rake race, you know, community, lots more videos, strategy articles, and all that good stuff. So this guy limps and we raise with the 8s just because we think we're going to get value from him because we assume he's going to play lots of weird hands. And then we're just going to go ahead and bet. I mean, there's 1 overcard, so it's a pretty good flop for us. And then folding is certainly not a huge negative for us because lots of his hands will still have equity versus us, like King Jack, King 10, and so on. Going to 3-bet my Ace King. Very standard. Especially button versus small blind. These guys seem to open a lot and then fall to raises, which is fine. Yep, okay, we're going to ISO. And yes, guys, I have also noticed we have the bullets on the 25NL game. Always a welcome sight. A7 suited I ISO'd. Don't really get a great flop because he can definitely connect with it, but we're going to start off by betting. And he min raises, and this is a very easy float. Just because of how many good turn cards there will be. And that's not one of them. So I raise the aces. I get caught by the weak player, and I go ahead and bet the flop. A7 I fold once I don't improve. Good turn card for us again here. Gonna go around 3/4. Really quick call, guys. Really quick call generally means a weakish hand. And remember, I'm actually just going to bet small and see if I can induce a raise with his misdraws. Or just try and get him to snap me with like just the jack. I won't fold. I mean, King 10, 8, 10, Jack Queen gets there, but once the draw misses and I bet small to induce, I just ain't ever folding. And it works. And he actually just turned 4th pair in the end, flop 2nd pair into a bluff. Which is very likely, you know, once you know someone's quite weak and, you know, they're either going to have a draw or a weak pair, you know if you bet, you might get called, like, you know, the usual 3/4. I mean, certainly if he has a hand like Ace-Jack or King-Jack, he's probably going to call. But when you think they're going to have lots of weaker hands than that, give them the chance to, you know, hero call you, because if he's got a 5 there, he's never going to call 3/4 pot, and he's never going to bluff over it. And, but, you know, if you bet 3, he might just go ahead and be like, yeah, whatever I call. Or he might just do something really stupid like we saw there. And I think, actually, for maybe part 24 of this, we might do a compilation of hero calls. And they're not really hero calls because, you know, I've got aces, whatever. But the amount of induced raises we have achieved across this 21 part so far is just incredible. I mean, it really is where most of the profits come from these games. You know, that there's just been so much spew and so much like, yeah, just always going to check call here. I'm just going to let this guy bluff off. I'm going to bet small to induce. It's just been this never-ending string, and there's just another one. You know, he really bombed it there. You know, that was a really big pot, and he had 5-6 off versus aces. You know, it's 51. It's literally 200 bigs. We want an exact buy-in. I'm going to go and bet here to check 9. Lots of good river cards for us, and lots that he can just go ahead and fold on the turn versus a big bet. King 6 there. Yep. Probably not a hand you should be losing that much money with, buddy. Just phenomenal, honestly, this site. I really can't see another site coming out that's just like a brand new poker site which does as well as this. Just in the sense of, you know, software, action, players, amount of money. Like, it's got to all be down to the fact they've got such a huge sports book. We are thankful. I'm going to go ahead and just bet pot here with my draw. Really not too bothered what happens versus it. You know, if they fold, if they call, if they raise, I mean, we can react to every single one of those moves. We hit the queen here. I think that's going to be the best hands. I'm just going to half pot it. And again, I just don't think I'm going to fold. Was it Vlad who bluffed me? I mean, I don't know if he's left his seat. No, okay, the guy left his seat, so I think I can maybe just fold here. Such a big 3-bet. He's a new player who's at 100 big blinds deep. We can just go ahead and get out of the way. Yeah, sit out this bottom right table. Don't want to play heads up. And nice. We're going to hop straight into a 25. 25NL is absolutely booming on this site. Like, it seems to be the most like offered stakes. So guys, if you play 25NL, come get in. Okay, just going to make sure I'm in the seat. Nice. Really easy money. You know, the cool thing is everyone knows none of this is like, you know, rigged. I'm not like just sitting in really good games or anything. I literally just load up the games. Like, it's all been so random. And I think maybe losing sessions we've had like 2 in the 21 parts. Like actual like losing money in a game. Maybe 3. I wish I hadn't played open face Chinese, but I will ask the guys at TonyBet if they can just track my win and losses for No Limit Hold'em during this series. I think I'm up about 500-600 euros from No Limit Hold'em. Just, you know, playing like 2NL to, I think we had one session of 100NL, but the average stakes probably being like, you know, 15-20 NL, something like that, if we really had to figure it out. We had a massive session of 50 NL one video, if you guys remember. I think we won like 300 euros there, so just lots of money. You know, 20 parts. Yeah, it's under 10 hours of grinding. And we got all the rate back and reg races on top. And I'm obviously, you know, it's like sample size and whatever, but I do know the regulars are making similar money. Don't know what this Erna saying. Oh, okay, it's saying a player's name. Probably got some history there. Or friends. What's going on with this bottom left table? Is somebody just bust or is somebody rebuying or something? Okay, interesting. I'm sat out. Oh, he's the one I've just joined. Okay, so it's waiting for me to be the big blind. It's not easy, talking, playing, and tracking tables. Gonna really miss playing on TonyBet as well. Hopefully we can come up with some good ideas for next year. But the ultimate 24-part series will end in December. And I'm actually making this 1st of December, which is a Thursday, and it's just turned 1 PM. So you can sort of gauge what the traffic and games are like during that. And I'd say across the series, it has pretty much always been around that time that I've made it. Early afternoon, mid-afternoon, you know, weekdays. Don't think I've made a video on here on a weekend yet, so there are plenty of good games, even though it's not a Sunday. Lots of easy folds. And yeah, make sure you check out. I said Open Face was good on the app, but also No Limit Hold'em and PLO is really good as well. Pot size bet and a quick call there by Poker Lopez. And it's going to go check and 9s win. Standard. I'm going to make a 3-bet here. Could have gone maybe slightly larger. Small bet versus button will always look quite strong. We have a nice playable hand. He makes a call, and we see a pretty good flop. We're just going to go ahead and bet. Jacks here, pretty interesting. I think just go ahead and bet and see what happens. I mean, he can certainly call if worse, but we do set ourselves up getting raised or creating a big pot. But luckily we are in position, so we're just going to go ahead and check turn. I think I'll call river if he bets. With the flush draw missing and no more overcards coming, I think it's just a pretty clear call. He was actually value betting or turning a 9 into a bluff. I'm going to go ahead and bet my nut flush draw and 2 overs. I'm just going to go ahead and continue to bet. Here I'm just going to bet all 3 streets here. And basically just rep that I've got a hand like aces or the nut flush. And see if I can get him to fold like a 10 or something. Just repping a hand that we can certainly have. Aces, kings, nut flush. All of those hands I think will be good there. And he will not want to really give money towards. So, worked out. He folded very fast. Probably just had some hand like king jack with a spade. It's not what you have, it's what you're pretending to have. Sometimes that matters. Sometimes it's what you have, sometimes it's what you're repping. We're just using our cards there. Like, if we've got the ace of spades, we just know he can never have a nut flush, and he can never have a hand like aces, so. Well, he can, obviously, but you know what I mean. The way the hand's gone down, he's probably not got aces, and we block it, and we have the ace that matters. Fold, fold, fold. Fold. No need to really do anything there with the king deuce. One thing to really understand as well when you're playing sites like these, like just how much easy money there is out there, and just not to really like get ahead of yourself or get stupid and just start 4-betting all the time, or just start defending all the time. You don't want to be in every pot. You want to pick your spots carefully and not go overboard. Big pot developing bottom left here. Flush draw miss, which I'd imagine is mainly the reason for the big pot. Didn't see the action up until this point, but with that size bet, you'd imagine that's a value bet from prop. He gets not min raise, but almost, which is very random. Is it full house versus full house? A queen versus a full house? Or is somebody up to no good? Prop bet's actually makes a quick fold there. Prop bet's getting battered today. It's getting re-ISO'd. People are sucking out on him. It's getting check-min raised. I mean, maybe that's the player who should maybe just go have half an hour and chill. He's getting absolutely beaten on. I'm going to go ahead and sit out the games and make these my last hands. As we come one step closer to the end of the biggest series we've ever ran. Big 3-bet here versus this guy who we don't know if he's a fish or good or whatever, but he's got lots of money, and well, we're in position with a nice playable hand. It's quite a small 3-bet, so pretty obvious call there from us. And when we miss, we're just going to check give up and hopefully turn something nice. Certainly not it. We're going to go ahead and fold. 9s we just check down and we make 3 of a kind on the river. Actually, sorry, we make a full house. Didn't see the pair 3. I think I'm just going to pot this and just hope if someone was, going to check call with an ace or a queen, then they're going to do it for a pot size bet. But yeah, when there's just as little action as that, you kind of know that it's probably not going to go your way. So that is the end of part 21. I was John from PokerVIP.com. please leave some reviews and comments, and I'll see you back here for part 2. Best of luck at the tables.